The first step for most of us in implementing a private equity bank in our lives will be to just get out of debt. So why begin with debt elimination? Well, the problem with debt is that it eats up about 34% of all of our income. So for every $1,000 that the average American earns, $400 of that, or 40%, goes to taxes. About $230, or 23%, goes to our lifestyle, our fun, and our toys. 34% of every $1,000, so $340 of every $1,000 that we earn, goes toward debt service, principal and interest, which leaves us then only 3% left for saving and or investing. And by the way, it doesn't matter whether you're a high-paid surgeon or a school teacher. It's the same percentages for every $1,000 we bring through the home. So whether you bring in $5,000 by yourself or $20,000 as a household, how we spend our money is right what is shown there. So why debt elimination first? Leverage and arbitrage. There's just much more area there in that 34% than there is anywhere else that we can get a hold of. That's the average. And then with the power of a private equity banking program, we can also use arbitrage to get out of debt. So that's why we focus first on debt service. Let me give you an example of that. Return on investment. That 3% that you're shoving away into either a savings account or you've got going into a 401k as an investment or whatever, right? You've got a financial advisor. That 3%, if you were capable of getting a 10% return, which would be a pretty good return, probably before taxes and fees, but if you were earning 10% out there in the market, that's a pretty good return. And if you got that on the 3% that is typically saved by us, you just made $3 for every 1,000, right? Versus debt elimination. If you get rid of just 1% of your debt, you just put $3.40 back in your pocket. Well, which of those is the easier one to do? Now, a friend of mine said the other day, well, my advisor's getting me 40%. And I thought, oh, really? 40%. Okay, if you could get 20%, which is half of what he claims he's getting with his advisor, that would be $6 on the portion that you're saving or investing, right? Of that $30. Let's put that 20% into perspective. In Tony Robbins' book, Money Matters, he talks about Ray Dalio, who happens to be the most famous hedge fund manager on the planet today. Ray Dalio has a hedge fund with about $161 billion in it. And this is a hedge fund that's used by the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. And he has averaged, as Tony Robbins says, a mind-boggling 21%. Again, that's before fees and taxes, right? I saw another article out there a little bit ago that was published by CNBC Making. The title to this article says, Warren Buffett warns against carrying a credit card balance. He said a friend of Buffett's recently came into some money and asked him for some advice. And the first thing he asked her was, well, do you have any credit card debt? And she said, yes, she did. And she was paying 18%. Warren Buffett replied to her, if I owed 18% on anything, that would be the very first thing I would do is pay off that 18%, right? He said, it's going to be way better than any investment idea that I could give you. He then continued, by paying off the balance, she would save more money on interest than any return she would get investing that money either in stocks or real estate or elsewhere, Buffett told her, right? He then said, and I thought this was interesting, I don't know how to make 18%. Again, I'm just trying to put that 20% because a friend of mine said that his advisor's getting him 40% into perspective. So if Ray Dalio and Warren Buffett struggle to get 20%, your local guy, maybe not. Anyhow, here's the point. If you could get even 10% of your debt service eliminated, that puts $34 back in your pocket instead of if you were investing and getting that 20% that we were just talking about, that would be $6. That's nearly a 6x return getting rid of your debt. That's what Warren Buffett was trying to say. That's the easy place. And besides, once you've eliminated that debt, you can always go and throw that money into an investment. So what happens if you wipe out 50% of your total debt? Now you've got an extra $170 in your pocket. So this is why we focus on it. Now let's bring it back to, say, the average American. In 2020, the average American household brought in $87,864. So 34% of that would be $29,873. Nearly $30,000, right? Think about that. What could you do with an extra $30,000 of liquid cash without getting a raise, right? Could you put it into savings? Could you put it into investing? Could you put it into your lifestyle? Could you divide it between all of them? Yes, 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 and yes. That 30,000 is like getting a raise, because without getting a raise, you're getting the same amount of money. So the question to ask yourself is, how would $30,000 of annual liquidity help you or the average American family?